Hi guys, so next up we're talking about Pixlr and starting by making our document. So first thing you're going to want to go do is go to pixlr.com, P-I-X-L-E-R. This is a roster or bitmap editing software that's open source and runs on your browser, and it is a very close equivalent to Photoshop. It does a pretty good job. I'm pretty impressed. So we're gonna go there. They do have two different types, Pixlr X, which is an express editor, which is basically just simplified down a little bit, and Pixlr E. We are going to be using Pixlr E because it is the closest to Photoshop. All right, so click on the Pixlr E in that top one. The other thing that you're going to want to do is make yourself an account. So sign up for an account. You can see I am signed in to mine. And what that allows you to do is just, instead of just editing like individually every single time, it will allow you to save your documents onto the cloud and be able to go back and edit them. So make sure you sign up with your school account here. Okay, so you can see that I have started making this actually. So I could just click in here to reopen this. But we can also create new, which is what you're going to do. And we're going to not use any of these right off the bat. We could also name something right here and type in the size that we wanted here. But for right now, just click on Full HD and I will show you how we can go ahead and change the size of that. So I'm going to click there, Full HD. You'll call this like add demo your name. Okay. Cool. We're going to just hit create. Okay. And what we have is what looks much like Photoshop. All right. So we have over here, we have our tools. Okay. We have our control panel across the top that changes when I change my tool. So here I'm going into cutout. Right. And as we go, it will change, you can see. All right. We have our main menu up at the top where it says file, adjustments, all that sort of stuff. And then we have our palettes off to the side, and this is our artboard. Okay. So the first thing that we want to do is change the size of this. So we are going to go to the crop tool right here. Right, hover over it, it says crop. That changes the document size. So I could, manually scale this if I wanted. I could type in what size I wanted. You can make sure it scales by free, which it is now, so that it just scales. You can scale it any which way you want. If I hit ratio, it will scale based on a ratio. We're going to go to size right here. All right, size, and we're going to go to preset, and we are going to paper letter. Okay, so that is the size that we want, which is a regular printed sheet of paper in the US. And we are going to hit apply. Excellent. So our next job is to start adding in the pictures, all right? So we are going to go to our layers, which is on the right-hand side. You can see right there. So with the layers, we're going to click on the bottom, see that plus sign? So I'm going to hit that plus sign. Oops, let's get me out of the way. And we have a couple options. We can add a new text layer, an empty layer, or an image layer. And we are going to hit the image layer. Okay? So from here, we can add anything that we want. So for instance, I am going to add in First of all, the alpine cornflowers. Okay, open. And there we have it. All right, so this image, great. I can, oops. So right now you can see I can scale this. So I don't want to scale it anymore. So I'm going to just press enter. And then I'm going to actually go grab the arrange tool, which is this arrow. And I'm just going to move it until I get sort of the composition that I want. Notice that there's a rule of thirds thing right here, which is cool. So I'm just gonna line my composition up. I'm gonna crop out part of the image, and I'm gonna put this little flower on that rule of thirds grid. All right, and I'm gonna press enter or move to a different layer. Cool. All right, so up after that, right, what we're going to do is we are going to add more photos. So we're going to do that again, add plus. Okay, put me down in this corner. We're going to add the gardening gloves. Okay. Enter. I'm going to click on here. Oh, so this is not wanting to solidify. So I'm going to go back to crop, back to my crop tool. And press enter. Okay, issue there for a second where I was having trouble accepting the crop there. So what I did to fix that is I just went and clicked on any of these other tools. So I clicked on the like marquee select here and it accepted that crop. Now, you'll notice that when you start putting images in that they get stacked up on top of each other and they might not be the right size. So you can see, first of all, that if I wanted to stack these differently, so for instance, I wanted the alpine cornflowers on top of the gardening gloves, I would go ahead and I just, in the layers, just like we would in Illustrator, drag and drop that layer order so that it is one on top of the other. So that's how we do the arrangement and stacking of things. In terms of the size, you can see here I'm in my white arrange tool. I'm clicked on the gardening layer so that it is selected. And what we will do is you can just scale at the corners. Now, right now, mine is set to fixed, so it's going to scale proportionally. It's not going to like squash it. If I did, I could, if I wanted to scale unproportionally, I could do that. All right, which brings us to, I don't want that. So in my history over here, I can go back. Or I can also hit Command Z, just like I would in Illustrator, to step back. So I'm going to keep this as on fixed and just scale it until I have it the way I want. And then also, we are going to rotate this particular one, all right? So to rotate, in Photoshop, you would come to the corners and just hover outside and rotate like that. just like in Illustrator, but in Pixlr it's slightly different. We're going to come to this little circle and we're just going to rotate like that, okay? Alternatively, you can rotate up here, okay? We can flip horizontal, flip vertical, that's cool. We could tell it to be explicitly these dimensions. And we can even up here come up and delete the layer, delete that particular image, or duplicate. So like, for instance, I can have 2 pictures, right? Or I can just hit delete here, okay? So those are some very basics of setting up your image. I'm just going to make sure that I have all 3. So I need my third, 2 more images. So I'm gonna come on here, image. We need the picture, the product. There we go. So I'm going to rotate that and scale it. And then we need the logo. So scale, there we go. And we want crab tree is the logo. Excellent. So there's our stack of pictures that we're going to start arranging in the next video.